So when I'm just marking your test, a lot of you weren't canceling your fractions before you multiplied. You need to be able to do that. So this question here can be written several other ways. You can write it as 2 times 10 divided by 5. You can also write it as 2 times 10 divided by 5. Writing in this way and thinking about it in this format will really help you. Because what's 10 divided by 5? 2. And so really what you have for your math is 2 times 2, which equals 4. Okay? So what you want to do is reduce the number that's being multiplied. Now what we do with our work, if you look back at the original question, we think of it as 10 divided by 5, and 2 is remaining. And so you cross them off, put a little 2, and then you can do 2 times 2 equals 4. So if you look at question number 2, what's the first piece of math that you're thinking? No. 35. You said 5. Oh, did you? Oh, I'm sorry then. Kizzy is right. 35 divided by 7 is the first thing you're thinking. And what's the number you write on top? 5. And what's the second piece of math you're thinking? 3 times 5 equals... That's how easy. This is the only thing we're learning today. Okay?
Really?
Yes. Yep.
You just do like 3 divided by 35, or 3 times 35.
No, way too hard. Way too hard. It's not, because we're going to get to stuff where you need to do it this way, okay? 27 divided by 9. 3 times negative 4. Negative 12. Okay, do questions 4. We'll go question 4. What's the first piece of math you're thinking?
15 divided by 5.
Which is what, Tony? Question? Good. Did you have a question? Oh, sorry. 2x times 3? 6x. Yeah. Any questions? Okay, do up to question number 9. Stop at question number 9. Go. Okay, so check your work. Number 5 is 3x. Number 6 is negative 6x. Number 7 is negative 28x. And number 8 is negative 36x. Any questions with any of these? Okay. All right, so now we're going to get into a little bit harder questions. So we actually have 2 separate things because they're separated by a plus sign. So we have 2 terms. So at the front, what's 15 divided by 5? 3. And 3 times 3? Okay, so 9 goes down below. Plus, what's 15 divided by 15? And what's 1 times 4? Add them up? So we couldn't add them before because they didn't have a common denominator. But as soon as you get rid of the fractions, ooh la la, easy to do. 9 plus 4. Okay, so all your work today shouldn't have fractions unless you're doing your check. Okay. Number 12. Sorry, number 10. What's 12 divided by 4? Good. 12 divided by 6 is 2. Okay, do numbers 10 and 11 right now, please. Go. So we get 9x minus 15x equals negative, oh, that's not 15, 10. So the answer is negative x. Okay. Okay, number 11 is just like number 10. Go ahead. So here we have 3, and we get 21x. Here we have 8, and we get minus 40. You can't do any more because they're different terms. Okay. Okay, question number 12. Now we get into the hard questions. So what's 15 divided by 5? 3. And so now you have to do distribution property. So 3 times both parts. So 3 times 3x is 21x. 3 times negative 7 is negative 9. So I did that last class too. 9x minus 21. So it's just like you've done before. It's nothing new. Okay. Try question 13. Go. Okay. What do you notice about question 12 and 13? Diction? They're the same. So watch this, folks. For question number 12, you can actually take that question and instead of 3x minus 7, you go 3x over 5 minus 7 over 5. You can break fractions apart like that, right? There's a common denominator, so they put them together. But you're totally welcome to break them apart. Okay? I just want to show you that. Sometimes you see that later on in math, and it's really helpful. Okay, now for 14, you have to come up with a number. So 5 and 3, what's the lowest common multiple or common denominator?
15.
Good. So write in 15 in the brackets. Go ahead and do the work. Go. Okay, so you should get 9x plus 20. Yep.
But they both have to be 15, but not just do it equal.
Well, let's look at the other questions. Question number 10. Did you use the same number to multiply? Question number 9? Question number 11? Yeah. And the reason why is because we use a different number, you change things. But since you use the same number, it's all equivalent. Okay? So here we have 3, 4, and 6. Yeah, 12. The LCM is 12. Could you use 24? Yep. Is it the lowest number? No. Okay, but you still could use it. All right, don't be afraid about that. Now, one thing you need for 15 is when you have one with a fraction line like this, you need to put brackets around that. That's super important. Today's work, in your homework, you'll see questions with the brackets there already, and all of a sudden they won't put them there. So be careful. That's going to be at the end of your homework. Don't get trapped on that. So we should get 8x plus 21 equals 2 times, or 3x minus 5 times 2. Multiply it in. 6x minus 10. Could you solve this easily now? Totally. But we're not going to. We'll do that in a second. Okay, what about this one here? This 7 and 3. What's the underneath the 2? Yeah. So what number should you multiply it by? 21. Okay, often you multiply those things together to get the number. Now don't do the last part. I'll show you why. So these cancel to 7. So now this is interesting. You've never seen this before. What are some ideas? What do you think we could do? Basically, we have 5 bracket x minus 2 bracket 7. What could we do? Tikshin. Combine which one, sorry?
Combine like terms like 5 and 7.
Okay, and how would we combine them?
5 plus 5 is 7.
No. This is like 3 times 4 times 2, and you're saying we should go 3 plus 2. So what should we do, Tikshin? Exactly. So what we could do is multiply these together and get 35 bracket x minus 2. Okay? And that is probably the easiest thing to do. So I'm not going to teach you anything else. Okay? Now, don't solve it, but we should show that this is 35x minus 70, okay, without brackets. All right? And people like it a lot better. Who likes to solve the bottom Actually, who likes to solve the top? Anyone want to solve the top? Or who likes to solve the bottom one? Bottom? Super easy. Yeah. Alright, turn over. Oh, this is 2 pages. The photocopier screwed up, so it's a couple pages there. So turn over 2 pages. There you go. You guys see it? So 5 and 3, what number should you multiply by? What's the LCM? 15? So put 15 and 15. It's okay if you write it up front, it doesn't matter. Okay, cancel them out. We get 3 and 5. So then we get 3x equals negative 10. So what does x equal? Negative 10 divided by 3. Right, negative 10 thirds is a fraction, no big deal. Done. Pretty easy, eh? If you know what you're doing. What about the next one? 6, 3, and 12. What should we multiply each by? 12. So the first one by 12, the second one by 12, and the last one by 12. We can cancel out first. Now solve for x. Go. You'll get a fraction again. Negative 13 over 2. Perfect answer. There you go. Now we're getting to a little harder. 7, 14, and 2 are denominators. So what's the LCM? 14. Good.
Why did you have to?
How many people left that as their final answer? How many you guys got half marks? Why only half marks? Lowest terms always, right? So we kind of, we trick number 1 and 2 put you to sleep, and then you did fall asleep, and we caught you there. Question 3. So lowest terms would be 5 thirds. That is your final answer. Yes, Kezia.
Why did you get like 6x equals 10 to x equals 10?
Minus 4x, minus 4x. There we go. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Next one. Okay, what's 3 and 5? What's the LCM? Good. Go ahead and multiply them all by 15. So each term. So we have 4 terms there. Right? 4 terms. Have a look up and see how I separate it. That's really important. The other way, you would have got x equals negative 78 over negative 5. That's only half a mark because the final value is what? Positive. So you would have to change that to positive 78 over 5 for a full mark. Okay, you want to simplify as much as possible. Any other questions? Okay, next one. Now, number 5, what do we need around the top? Good. So I always put them there right at the beginning. What's going to happen in your homework is you'll have brackets, 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 and then all of a sudden they're just going to trick you and put one without brackets. Okay, always put brackets there around the top of that division. What should we multiply by? 15. Good. So times them both by 15. Okay, it doesn't matter where you write the 15. What do you notice about question number 5? Anything funny about it or interesting about it? Look at your denominators 3 and 5. Down below, after I cancel, what happens? They switch, right? They do the old cross multiply deal. And that's because instead of dividing by 3, you can bring it up and multiply. Instead of dividing by 5, you can bring it up and multiply. Don't need to know that, but it's interesting. Okay, so I want to point that out to you to see that. Okay. Next question. A little bit harder. There's a number there already. Hopefully you remember what to do. So multiply. Don't forget to watch out for that number. Okay. Go ahead, do this yourself. If you're stuck, put up your hand. Okay, if you're stuck, have a look at the first one I did. I did the first one, okay? So you got to 15 divided by 3 is 5, and then multiply 5 times 2. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same thing at the back. Hmm? 3 times 3 is 9. Can I multiply it in? Yep. Are you sure? Okay. Is that correct? 61? Nope, sorry, that's wrong. Negative 79. There you go. Okay. Okay. Now number 7 is the full meal deal. So what do you have to watch for? Tell me. Look at the question. What are some things that you got? There's 3 things you should say be careful of. Diction, one of them. Yes. So the first thing you got to watch out for is you got to add brackets there. So before you start the question, look and see, hey, what's tricky? What else is tricky with this question? Carolina? The 3. So you should put an arrow to it. And what's the last thing that's tricky? The other 3 is a little tricky. Don't forget it. Yep. So sure, we can put an arrow to it. There's one other part that's even bigger than that can trip you up. Alice said it. I talked about when you went over your homework, the subtraction sign. Okay? So be careful of that. So multiply everything by how much? 12. Go for it. So what we're going to do now is just show you a quick check. So when you're checking this, it'll be 3 times negative 22 plus 2 all over 4 minus bracket negative 22 plus 1 bracket all over 3 equals negative 22 over 2 plus 3. Okay. Then you do your great wall of check. So we have 3 times 20 over 4 minus negative 21 over 3. And on the other side, we get negative 11 plus 3, which is what? Negative 8. Okay. Here we have 3 times 5. It's not that hard. Plus 7. So 21 divided by 3 is 7. You have 2 negative signs, turns into a plus. 15 plus 7. Oh, we did something wrong, didn't we? This should be negative 20, negative, negative. There we go. Negative 8. Negative 8. Left side equals right side. Okay? So